You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean Reynolds, the owner of Summit Properties Northwest, Reynolds & Kline Appraisal, and your host of the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. Welcome back, and for those of you who are first-timers here, thanks for tuning in. I'm a real estate guy. I own a real estate brokerage and an appraisal company. I talk about pro-business topics, and I talk about a lot of the nonsense going on here in Seattle. Today, we are talking about we are no longer having a love affair with Zoom. We're finding that working from home is kind of a pain in the rear, and Zoom and those teleconferencing, those endless all-day teleconferences on Zoom, we're not having it. And a bunch of CEOs are basically saying the same thing. Now we know the CEOs, they just want you working back in the office. They want you in the big tin can. They want to control your actions. I mean, they really don't. But it's so much easier to run a business when you can physically see people, see what's going on. It's a control thing. Most CEOs are control freaks. That's how they got to be CEO. Myself, I'm CEO of two companies. People would mainly say the same thing about me. But I don't really believe in meetings. I believe most meetings can be handled with an email, with a text, with a group email. Let people do their thing. From that standpoint, I'm a little bit more centrist, a little bit more middle of the road. I kind of think people should be able to do what they want. And if you can still run your business that way, and I can, I've been running both businesses virtually since 2011. Let people do their thing, and they either produce or they don't. I'm in businesses where you can do that. Did you sell the home or did you not? Did you make yourself a commission? Did you make the company a little bit of money? You didn't? Oh, okay. Well, then you're not performing. You did? Sweet. Great. Let's keep going. Today's article is from NPR. I like to throw in a little NPR right now and then, because you need to kind of round out your news from all different segments. And I try and do that. And a lot of people would say, oh, NPR. They've got their own little agenda going on. Don't listen to NPR. Or people love NPR. Some people just love NPR. They love getting their news from NPR. I take a little bit from everywhere, and that's how I kind of round out what I do. The title on this one is Time to Ditch Those Awful Zoom Calls, CEOs say. See how it's couched? CEOs say. Zoom calls. I hate Zoom. I mean, it's a great tool, and if you have nothing else, and at the beginning of the pandemic, it was pretty amazing because companies are like, we can actually operate even though our office is closed. This is a novel concept. We can operate on large scale and not go into the office. Look at this. Productivity is up. We're going to do this forever. We're going to work this way forever. We're getting rid of all of our office space. And we heard that narrative in March, April, May. By June, you weren't really hearing that narrative much anymore, were you? People are like, yeah, I've been 90 days straight, 120 days straight with my wife or with my husband, with my girlfriend. We're both working from home, trying to do Zoom calls, get the kids' homework done. I don't have any of that. My kids are too old. Not have the dog bark all day long. Trying to get stuff done, the laundry is still piling up, trying to figure out work-life balance, all this stuff. Doesn't really happen at home, does it? We're not really meant to work from home. Some people are. Some people are okay with that. I haven't spent a single day at home during the Rona. Not a single day. Mainly because I was so upset that somebody dictated to me that you need to shut down the economy, that my way of rebelling was, no, I'm going to go to the office every day. Now, we were deemed essential, so we were able to do that. I'm in an office where we can socially distance and make all that good stuff happen. We can follow protocol, be legal. A lot of companies can't do that because you got too many people roaming around, and you have to have, okay, it's your turn to go to the coffee machine. All right, go. All right, stop. No coffee machine. No more coffee machine for you. You need to get out of there. Let the next person go. It's their turn. Same thing with the fridge. You on the fridge, go. Okay, you're done. That's what we're doing in big corporate America. You've got literally, if you look at the professional office space, you have to have a schedule for all this stuff. You got to have a cleaning schedule, all kinds of stuff. I bet you most companies aren't abiding by that. They're just trying to get their business done without really impacting their business because with all the Rona restrictions. Because if you followed every single Rona restriction in the state of Washington to a T, that's all you would do. That's all you would do. You wouldn't do anything else. You wouldn't get any business done. You wouldn't even get a ridiculous Zoom call done, right? All right. So let's jump on in and let's see what the deal is with CEOs saying, oh, we should go back to the office. No more Zoom calls for you. And I think that there's a happy medium here somewhere. I'm ripping on Zoom calls just because I don't really like them. But then again, I do video all day long. I look into a camera all the time. So for me, it's not this novel concept of, oh, hey, I'm working from home and I can make this happen. For some people, it's a great experience. For other people, and for me specifically, I've worked at home before, and I like the distinction between work and home. I like to have a little bit of a drive in between when my workday is done and I get home. I don't want to have to walk from the living room next door and go where maybe my work is to my bedroom and go to sleep. That to me is jarring and there's just not enough of the separation for me. I need some kind of separation. Maybe some people need to walk around the block. I don't know. But I think a lot of this is rocking people's worlds, and the whole Zoom thing has really rocked CEOs' worlds because they no longer have that control. And I think there's a real lack of productivity that happens when you're not physically around people. It doesn't need to be at the office. I did a podcast yesterday on Dropbox is setting up kind of satellite offices. They're going to have all their employees work from home. They said permanently, but then permanently that equated to, I think, June of 2021 or April of 2021. No, Amazon is working from home April 2021. Zoom is June of 2021, something like that, for a ways into 2021. But I think what will happen is most companies will send their employees back to the office mid-2021. We'll have a vaccine in place. We'll have all that kind of squared away. And people will probably telecommute maybe one day a week, maybe Friday. I've been saying this forever. But this is part of my prediction coming true, is that CEOs are no longer on the bandwagon of, this is the greatest thing ever. We can still do business during the pandemic. Well, that novelty is worn off. And CEOs are saying, let's get back in the office. I know the CEO, and I've been yammering on about this, the guy from Netflix, he was the first one. We're losing creativity. Really? Yeah, you are. Everybody knows it. All right, so let's jump in. Lately, Zoom meetings have been hitting a nerve with CEOs. Hitting a nerve. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said there's no vital creative combustion happening in virtual settings. I totally agree. That's what for creative companies, I'm a real estate company. I'm a couple of real estate companies. We don't have a lot of creativity. We're just kind of bang out the widgets and the appraisal end of things and sell homes on the real estate. Then you might go down the road of, well, you can do this and that that's really creative in real estate. Guess what? We all do the same thing. We pitch homes. It's boring stuff. If you want to get a little creative, great, you can, but you probably don't need an inner office setting to make that happen. You as a real estate broker, you're doing your own thing out there. Be creative. That's awesome. You don't need to come into the office to get that done. So for me, it's a non-issue. But for other companies where they need that creative interaction between people, the give and take, you don't have that with a Zoom call. American Airlines CEO Doug Parker finds Zoom meetings awful. American Airlines, awful. The Zoom calls by their CEO. American Airlines itself is not awful. Sorry about that. I have nothing against American Airlines. They find Zoom meetings awful. I do too. And Microsoft CEO Satya, I can never pronounce his name, Nadella, calls them transactional, where 30 minutes into your first video meeting in the morning, you're fatigued. Because I think it's this really monotonous thing, and it's like watching boring television. Your coworkers. My girlfriend has these meetings, and she works for the county. She has these meetings, and I just cringe when I hear those meetings going on in the background. They've got their symbols of who they are on the screen. Maybe it's a picture. It's a funny picture. You got a picture of your kid, picture of your dog, something cute. And then they all sit there and try and act interested and try and give some feedback that covers whatever topic they're doing. To me, those are awful, awful, awful. Can't do them, wouldn't be able to do them. I wouldn't even be able to fake my way through. That's why I would make an awful employee at this point in my career. Awful, terrible. I'd be the worst employee. I would just tell everybody, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. That's ridiculous. We're not doing that. But then it wouldn't be we, it'd be Sean, you need to do this. And I would say, oh, okay. And then I'd complain a lot. Early during the pandemic lockdowns in April, many were touting the benefits of Zoom meetings. James Gorman, CEO of Morgan Stanley, said his bank would need much less real estate in the future because even though he was a fan of having teams together, we've proven we can operate with no footprint. All right, we've proven that, but we don't really want to do it that much longer, do we? I had text conversation with my buddy Mike Munson, and he works for Amazon, and he is looking forward to the environment. Mike, I think this is totally okay to say, but you're looking forward to going back to South Lake Union where your office is, because it's a really cool, vibrant area of Seattle, and all the restaurants and the places, and you don't get that sitting at home. And if you're in suburbia, you don't have that mix. And so I think a lot of us are kind of looking forward to when things kind of get back to normal. And you know, when you go to work or when you go to school and you think, God, I hated that experience, but then you start to miss certain parts of that experience. That's what corporate America, and that's what everybody that works in a big tin can in downtown at the glass skyscraper, that's what people are missing right now. We're at that stage in the Rona shutdown where we're like, you know what? I don't want to be in my suburb anymore. I've had enough of this. I think you go either one way or the other. I can do this forever. I love being hunkered down. I don't really want to see any people. Or let me go to a concert. Let me see some live music. I don't care what it is. If it's an electric fiddle, I want to see that concert. Whatever it takes, just give it to me. That's kind of the stage that I'm at, is like, you've held us back long enough. Let her rip. Let us do our thing. And so we've proven we can operate with no footprint. Yep, we can, but I don't think we want to anymore. Now members of the C-suite, corporate suite, it's me in a weird way, have gone full boomerang on Zoom meetings. You ever thrown a boomerang? It's pretty hard. Going to Australia as a kid, learned how to throw a boomerang. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It doesn't necessarily come back to you. It can actually just go and leave you. Like 1977, I was given a boomerang by my Australian grandma. We went to a park. I threw it so far that it didn't come back and it was gone forever. Had to explain to my grandma, sorry about that boomerang, it's gone. Technically, boomerangs will come back to you. And so now we've gone full circle where we don't really think that Zoom meetings are all that great. We kind of want to go back to the office. I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. So after having the CEOs say, we've gone full boomerang, after finding them awesome and productive at first, they're now questioning how much they really achieve and are suggesting they lead to a sterile work culture lacking in imagination. Imagine that. That's the big struggle when you have a company that's virtual, and that's what I call Summit and Reynolds and Kline. We're not really virtual because people come into the office every now and then, but most everybody works remotely, and that is difficult getting an exciting corporate culture put together. And that's some of the reason I do as many videos and I do a podcast, because I don't have people coming into an office environment every day. They never come in. I have people that I have never met that have sold real estate for me for 4, 5, 6 years. Is that crazy? No, because I can vet them. They know who I am. They've seen me on podcasts. They know what I'm kind of about. They deal with me. I have people call and for the first time, and they're like, oh, hey, it's really you. You're really on the phone. And I'm like, yeah, I am. What do you want to talk about? And we kind of go from there. But I have those kind of conversations all the time because people see me on video, and they're like, hey, I know who you are. Yeah, here I am. And you're listening to me. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. We're getting a lot of subscribers. It's kind of crazy. I guess there is a thing about watching some old dude talk about ridiculous business and whatever it is. All right. So what we as human beings need, want, seek is human contact. See how we've gone full circle so quick? And that's the CEO of Microsoft. All of a sudden, the news cycle has changed and we are looking at, Zoom calls, no good. I think it was a great way to integrate a necessary tool into our work environment. And I think we will continue to use that as a tool, but it doesn't replace the inhuman experience going to the office. The CEO of Microsoft, he was speaking at a virtual conference organized by the Wall Street Journal last week. And that's when he said the human contact comment. We need human contact. And a lot of businesses, way more creative than real estate, they need that human contact, and you don't get it over Zoom. Diamond, Who's Diamond? He's the CEO of some company. Can't remember. You probably remember. I don't. Diamond is particularly worried about how working from home has affected JP Morgan's, he's obviously the CEO of JP Morgan, affected JP Morgan's younger employees. He told analysts that productivity had dipped, especially on Mondays and Fridays. Diamond says bringing people back to the office is paramount to fostering creativity. That's interesting. Mondays and Fridays. On the front end of a week, your Monday, you're like, oh, I do not want to deal with this ridiculous Zoom meeting. And Friday, everybody's checked out. Everybody's checked out at the office anyway on Friday, right? It gets to about noon and people are like, yep, I'm gone. So let those people work from home on Friday. Monday, I think you got to start the week strong. I think Monday is at the office. So if you want to do a Thursday, Friday telecommute, I'm down with that. If you can make your business work and if you can see that your productivity is okay, I would do that. I'm probably on the more liberal, aggressive side of that. I'm not liberal. I'm typically more conservative. But as far as stuff like that goes, I'm probably more in the middle and leaning towards kind of let people do what they want. If you can find a way to get the productivity, and that's how my businesses work, and I have a lot of other owners of real estate appraisal and brokerage companies say, how do you have control over your people when you never see them? And I'm like, I don't. Simple as that. As long as they don't break the law, as long as they conform to what I perceive as guidelines that you need to abide by in my companies, I'm okay. Do your own thing. Go out, make money, make it happen. You don't need me to look over your shoulder. You're a licensed real estate agent. You're a licensed real estate appraiser. Go do your thing. And here is the statement that I thought was funny. The bloom is clearly off this rose, meaning that CEOs and I think employees are like, I'm tired of working from home. This sucks. Now, people with little kids, I think they have a real challenge. Other professionals, they have challenges too, but people managing maybe in a smaller home, and that's why we've seen so many home sales take place. People have realized we need a slightly bigger space or we need a different functional space in order to make this work. And it's not a studio and it's not a one-bedroom condo or apartment. It's not. Those things are not selling. Not selling. Maybe they will here in the future, but as that step up. But those are kind of the kiss of death right now because they're typically located in downtown urban locations. People don't want to live there. People also need a little more space than either a studio or a one-bedroom. All right. Remote workers are using the bathroom during meetings. Oh my gosh, they have to go to the bathroom during the day? That's terrible. That's the next headline. What Diamond and Nadella are articulating is increasingly bearing out in broader surveys. Architect and design firm 𝒂𝒂𝒕𝒕𝒍𝒆, which of course has an interest in people returning to office spaces, self-serving, conducted a survey in September. It found that 40% of people who ran businesses have noticed decreases in productivity from remote working staff. Among the same group back in April, 56 rated productivity as excellent. I think that's because everybody was so afraid that they weren't going to be able to work at all that when you're like, okay, we've got nothing, and then we've got this Zoom scenario. All right, the Zoom scenario is amazing when you are forced to look at not running your business. But then when we're kind of getting to the point where we can go back to our offices a little bit more, I mean, let's be honest, we could probably go back to the office right now. Schools are back in session. You know, fraternities are having big parties. They're having some big coronavirus outbreaks as well. But I think adults could manage that in a work environment to the point where it's not an issue. So what we've got going on is just we really want to make sure that we're following the data and the science to a point where we let all of the lemmings go back to their office buildings. That's what we're doing. All right, so productivity was excellent back in April. Now, not so much. As for the employees who sit in front of a computer every day in the same spot of their homes, often on video chat, they found the experience draining. I agree with that, even though I don't do it. They missed being able to connect face-to-face with colleagues and had trouble setting boundaries for when work started or ended. It's happening all the time, right? It was surprising to see how many people felt this remote work fatigue, especially given the headlines of 100% remote forever, says Sarah McCann, a real estate strategy associate at 𝒂𝒂𝒕𝒍𝒆. So when I saw that Facebook bought a big suburban office campus from REI just a couple of months ago, just up the street, literally here in Bellevue from my office, that was one of the things to me. It was like, yeah, Facebook understands that we're not working from home forever. That's silliness. And that was a move on REI's part because they are a retailer. Guess what? Retail wasn't doing all that great for a long time during the Rona. Earnings are down. We've got this building. We're probably not going to use it in the near future. We need the cash. Going to sell it. Facebook's got they've got deep pockets. They can make it go. And they're buying stuff. Amazon, same thing. Amazon's buying stuff, renting stuff, building stuff. Not because we're working from home forever, but because this is a short-term situation and we will be going back to the offices pretty soon. What are we? We are October 2020. Another couple months, you're going to start to see the exodus from people's homes back to the office. And it might be 3 months, 4 months, somewhere in there. But within the next 6 months, I think you see a major trend back. Another survey by virtual tech firm Lucid. That's weird. Are you Lucid? Yeah, and I worked there too. Lucid found that when workers didn't feel like they had needed to behave during virtual meetings when no one was looking, most of them admitted to questionable behavior during virtual brainstorm meetings, including 1 in 10 who admitted using the bathroom while on a call. You adults going to the bathroom during your workday. It's no good. Should you hold it? Yeah. But what if you're on like a 45-minute teleconference call on Zoom? You really got to go. You're just going to get up and go. That's ridiculous. Some workers admitting to exercising, taking a shower, watching TV, and cooking or preparing a meal while participating in virtual brainstorm meetings. What if somebody calls on you and your avatar is there, but you are not there to answer? How do you explain that? Yeah, hey guys, I know this is a really critical meeting, but I'm going to go take a shower. Yeah, I'm walking 14 feet that way. I'm going to go take a shower. Your meeting? Not so much. Nathan Rollins, the chief marketing officer at Lucid, said that's because virtual meetings are often a series of monologues where people are often checked out and feel this meeting is the sort of thing where I could lift weights. I'm down with that. If you want to do some curls while you're doing your meeting, you should do that. You should go. If you want to do some body weight squats, I'm all for it. Do some push-ups? Hey, why not? You can do that. But the fact that somebody's making a statement, this meeting is the sort of thing where I could lift weights, that to me is funny because they're basically saying, this is a crappy meeting. I don't really need to attend this. I'm going to do something more important, and that is bettering myself physically. F your meeting. That's what they're saying, right? I think so. I think everybody's to that point. Rollins said workers were put off by hearing multiple voices simultaneously. When I read that, the first time when I read this article, I was like, yeah, because in a video setting, when you hear multiple voices, you're like, who's saying that? I can't really tell, because you can't see people to see where it's coming from or know the intonation or know which voice that you want to focus on. You're just like, too many voices coming at me. And multiple voices simultaneously, which might not be that distracting in a physical setting, but in a digital setting it is, right? The survey also found that younger workers, as many as 1 in 4, were even breaking company pandemic protocols and meeting with colleagues in person to discuss work projects. Oh, no. No way. They're still working. They're doing it in person. This is a trend. This is happening. And I think people are like, I know I'm cheating, but I'm going to go meet my coworker today. We're going to pretend that it's a personal meeting, but we're actually going to do work at Starbucks. We're going to go work at Starbucks. Whatever it is that they want to do. Are Starbucks even open? I don't drink coffee, so I don't know if in place for Starbucks. I went by a French bakery yesterday, and people were sitting down in there. It didn't even look like there was, every other table or whatever it is, social distancing. It was pretty packed. I was glad to see it. French bakery. Don't really eat there either. French pastries are good, though. And corporate leaders found that they had to delay major launches, campaigns, or initiatives. Rollins says that these are exactly the kinds of projects that need people to work together in person and collaborate to finish. Agreed. I wish I had more creativity where I was in a setting where other people took my opinion and said, yeah, that's some really good creativity. I don't really have much creativity that way, but whatever. Here we are. Companies hedge their bets on remote work with new office space. Oh, are we seeing a shift back to commercial office space? Recognizing the importance of collaboration, some large companies, including those that are offering flexible options to employees, are doubling down on office space. The trend is reversing. Facebook is leasing all the office space at an ornate New York landmark, the former James A. Farley Post Office building. Now, you could say that, you know what, they were probably in the process of this before, or yeah, they just need to expand. But we had the narrative for so long that, oh, we're all just going to work forever from home. That's just not the case. That's not happening. Amazon, which so far has said employees can work from home until early next year, I believe it is April of 2021. So April of 2021, Amazon just bought the marquee Lord and Taylor building on Manhattan's Fifth Avenue. That's pretty epic. So they're going to buy a really expensive Lord and Taylor building on Manhattan's Fifth Avenue and then have everybody continue working from home? No. Big companies don't make those bets without having all the science and data behind their decisions. There is an actual correct use of science and data. Maybe our governor should pay attention. Maybe not. And Amazon also leased another 2 million square feet in Bellevue, Washington. That's where we're doing this podcast from. 2 million square feet. You know how big that is? That is monstrous. I've done podcasts on that. They're just going ham here in Bellevue because mainly the city of Seattle is pushing them out. Done a bunch of podcasts on that. You can check those out if you care. You probably don't. But these tech giants will continue to offer employees flexible options, recognizing that much work can be done at home, agreed, while betting that their employees are also driven by the human impulse to socialize. Let people go back a couple of days, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, if they really want to. I think most people would be happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I keep harping on that. But if I was an employee in that situation, I could suck it up and get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday done. I could get that 72 hours of work done within that 72-hour time period, get enough work done, and know that my glorious 4 days of not being at the office are ahead of me. So I could get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday done all day long. I mean, let's be honest. We all did 5 days a week for years and years and years. And this work from home stuff, if you're old school like me, there's no working from home. You go to the office. That's ridiculous. That's silly. If you're not at the office, you're not working. That's the bottom line. That is what is ingrained in my head. And I know it's ingrained in most of your heads out there. Because guess what? There's none of this silliness of working at home. People aren't really working. They're goofing around. They're walking their dog. They are watching television. They're dinking around on their computer. They're not really working. But when the Rona hit, I had to make some adjustments. Here we are. Still, there's recognition by workers and employers alike that more is possible with virtual settings than before. Yeah, how much more? I question that. A lot of people have learned that they can work at home or that there's other methods of conducting their business than they might have thought from what they were doing a couple of years ago. Agreed. When change happens in the world, you adjust to it. Yep, you do. And despite all the misgivings, Microsoft itself announced just last week that its staff will have the option of working from home permanently. It's what many other companies are, from Facebook and Twitter to Zillow and Nationwide Insurance, are doing. I think that is certain segments of their workforce, right? You guys aren't the creative people. Creative people over here, you guys are going to the office, XYZ. Less creative people, you guys do what you want. We can figure out how to monitor you. Many workers enjoy working from home and are saying so. What most surveys show, however, is that they also want to meet their colleagues. They miss the casual moments that spark spontaneous ideas. Some tasks, such as reading, research, and writing, can, in fact, be done better in a remote setting. So when I was actively appraising, I was that dude who would show up on your front porch, say, hey, next 20 minutes, I'm going to be measuring your home. Then I'll be coming through in the inside. I'll be doing a diagram of your home, writing down all these notes, taking pictures of every room, not because I care about what you have in your home, but because the lender is making me do this. And I know it might seem invasive, but in order for you to get a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac backed loan, I got to take a picture of all your stuff. And so I would be that guy. And when you get to that point, after that, you drive around, you look at comparable sales, then you have to write the report. That sometimes takes multiple hours. On a bad appraisal, you can spend 10 hours writing that bad boy up. Maybe it's 8, maybe it's 6. But that setting is done best at home or in a setting where you are basically not bothered by anybody else. Headphones on, head down, banging away on a keyboard. You're not in a social setting. So those aspects, the reading, research, and writing, need to be in a place you can focus. So agreed. That's a remote setting, whether it's at home or a library or Starbucks. But creative brainstorming sessions, project discussions, new client meetings, onboarding of new employees, they are better suited to in-person settings. And that's why I think all these companies are like, you guys are all working from home forever. Not true. I think employees are going to be like, they're going to be in some Zoom meeting. Hey, when can we come back to the office? I know we said we didn't like it there, but man, I am tired of the restaurants around here. I want to go back to downtown where it's cool. I want to go walk around the block and see other people. I think that's what happens here pretty shortly. Companies recognize this new reality, and that is some things are better suited for in-person settings. Workplace consultant Korn Ferry, Korn with a K. Korn Ferry found in a survey that few, as in just 14%, employees say returning to the office every day will be mandatory. That number is just going to go up. It just is. I mean, it's going to go up sooner than you can imagine. As with anything, one size hardly fits all. Good blanket statement. Escaping the drudgery of work from home routine is a great attraction, with more than half saying that they most look forward to the camaraderie with colleagues at the offices. However, 23% said that they are not looking forward to any part of returning to the office. When I read that, I thought, those are people that just need a new job, a new career, something. It's not necessarily the office. They hate their effing job. And for those people, I feel sorry for you and need to figure something out. You need to do a career change. Change your company, whatever it is. Change your lifestyle, change your focus, change something up. But 23%, that's a quarter of all people. I hate everything about going back to the office. If you can't find something nice in there, something good in there, something you're looking forward to, you need to make some changes. But for the rest of us who are probably like, okay, office isn't so bad. I just miss seeing people walk around downtown. It's like, this is not good for business. This is not the way things roll, because this is crushing so many other small little businesses who depend on a lot of people in these big office towers for their livelihood. And that's what's going on. That trickle-down effect is crushing downtowns right now. But if you're a small business out there and you're in downtown, hang in there, because it's my belief that people are coming back. And this article from NPR, I think it pretty well supports that. This is what CEOs are thinking. More and more people going back to the office, because you know what? It's really not that bad. And if you can suck it up, make it Monday through Wednesday, I think you're going to be good. You're going to be golden. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Sean Reynolds from Summit Properties Northwest, Reynolds and Kline Appraisal. I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.